audio. Stratton Brown, my dude, Strat. When he's not locking up real estate deals. In a former life, he was locking up wide receivers on the football field. Big sports guy. So I always start with that. How's it going, Strat?
Good, bro. How about you?
Good, man. Good conversation. Just touching base 20 minutes before we started recording, kind of catching up, getting to know each other. And Strat, I don't know. I guess we met in Woodlands, Texas at the Wholesaling live event. I'm talking to Charles on an interview next week, so I'm excited about that. But you just have good energy, good vibes from social media posts that you put out. I know that you're always trying to share kind of what you've been doing in your real estate journey, even picking up some rentals and breaking those down. I definitely enjoyed seeing those with you and your partner. So I'm grateful and appreciative that you're spending some time today on the 80/20 Real Estate Show, just talking shop and being helpful for people.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. So I guess the first typical question is what got you into real estate? I did talk football when you were playing safety and DB at Fresno State, but would kind of love to get a little bit more of a background on you, and then we can kind of talk what you have going on now with the real estate side.
All right. So it's kind of a long story. So I was at Fresno State. I was having a really big year. My senior year, I was 17th in the country in tackles. I was doing really good. I was all conference. I was like, bro, I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to make tons of money. And at that point in time, bro, like I was partying my ass off. And so I was like, all right, Strat, if you're going to go to the NFL, you better learn how to invest your money, or else I'm talking to myself. We both know, Strat, you're going to go broke because you're just going to go hard. I was like, okay. So like, as I'm like training for my pro day and everything else, I'm like reading Grant Cardone, Dave Ramsey books, Bigger Pockets, and still working out, but just like trying to process both things, just knowing. So like, okay, I get into the NFL for 1 year. Cause like on average, you only make it for 3 years. If you do make it, all I got was a rookie mini camp, but I was just anticipating like, okay, let's say you get a signing bonus of a couple $1,000. And then like, let's say you make a roster, you're making 500 grand a year. What are you going to do with all that money? Like just hearing stories about other dudes. One of my friends played for the Chiefs, and he was telling me a story about Travis Kelce, how he got a signing bonus in his first year he didn't play. And he just took that entire signing bonus and partied with it the entire year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, wow. Like, I wasn't that good. I was like, okay, if that is the type of people I'm going to be around, I like to have fun. I better learn how to at least stash some of the stuff away and get into it. So I come home from Seattle. I was like, you know what, man? I'd rather start a career and build my income up to be that all the time, that like NFL minimum of $500,000 or practice squad $100,000. I was like, okay, that's my goal. So I'm just at home looking for jobs. I start a home inspection business. I do like one mock home inspection, go through like the bottom, like crawl space. I'm like, I'm never doing this shit again. Like I felt so claustrophobic. I was like on my hands and knees crawling around. It wasn't good at all. And so I quit doing that. But like, as I'm doing all this stuff, I was going to like real estate meetups, and I met a guy, and he was like, yeah, man, 3 years ago, I was making like 30 grand a year driving a tractor. Now I make like $200,000 a month. And then he like shows me all these checks. I was like, oh, wow. Oh, like, that's cool. I didn't even think anything about it. And then I go do like my mock inspection, and then I hate it. And then like one day I'm at a restaurant, and I just text him like, so what do you do again? And like, how do I get started? Cause he like told me, he's like, download this app called Property Radar and go knock all the pre-foreclosures and see if they want to sell their house. So that's what I did. I started knocking doors. I knocked doors so much my pregnant girlfriend thought I was cheating on her, because I'd wake up, I'd go knock doors all day, and then I would come home when it was dark. And I did that for all summer, got like one deal. As I'm doing that, I'm like driving for dollars, and I'm like driving. My son's born. I have my son in the back of my truck because it's the only time he's quiet is when we're driving. So I'm driving for dollars. I have Mojo on the go on my phone, and I'm just driving up and down blocks, like looking for houses and cold calling people like all day long. Or I'd be like pushing my son in a stroller around the park and cold calling people. And that's all I did. And I end up working for this guy. We end up making like in-house call center, bring on like 8 people in-house. You can imagine how awful that went. And I end up running a lot of his marketing, run the office, a lot of sales. And so I'm the head acquisitions. We talk a lot about marketing, how we're going to handle it. It never felt like I was working for him, but I was working for him, pretty much running a lot of the show. And then eventually I broke off on my own.
Very cool. Yeah, a popular acronym for NFL is the not for long league. You would know better than myself, but the average duration that a player is actually in the NFL is like what, like a year, 2, 3 years, something like that.
It's like 3 years, man. But I mean, like it's the odds of you making it into that, even if you do get into it. Think about there's only like 3 big contracts in every team, you know, like, okay, you have like a big wide receiver contract, maybe like 2 big defender contracts, a big offensive line contract, and a quarterback contract. So like, let's call it 5. The rest of that is like a lot of free agents.
Yeah.
And then like random, like small deals.
Yeah.
Like no one else is like, most of these NFL players are not millionaires, dude.
Right.
Like you'll get paid like $500,000 for a year and that's all.
And even like a former MVP, Cam Newton, just signed like a 1-year vet minimum. It was like $450K, $500K. It's incentive laden, I'm sure. I don't think I saw, but still, even if you score 50 touchdowns in a year, get your team to the Super Bowl, have all these endorsements, you might only walk away. Like, what do you think he like after taxes on that deal? Say if he doesn't kill the incentive, say he has an average year, maybe like Jared Stidham starts for the Patriots, whatever. How much of that, including taxes getting taken out, of that $500K deal that Cam Newton just signed, do you think he might actually like bring home?
Bro, he gets like $200K. You know what I'm saying? Like you get like $200,000. Like you're an average dude. Like I think he has like $1 million with incentives and everything, but like after taxes, because you're in the highest tax bracket, you make all your money in 17 weeks, so they're just gonna slash you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't have endorsements, bro, you're not really getting that much money. Like it's a lot of money to people who don't have that much money, but you aren't seeing a lot of. You got to pay your agent. Like you have all this other stuff that's coming in.
Mm-hmm. And you know it's crazy. I randomly was listening to just like rabbit hole. Usually before I go to bed, if I'm just chilling, I have a YouTube where I'm listening to random sales, marketing, mindset stuff. Tom Bilyeu, Jordan Belfort, Grant Cardone, random people like that. But one of the recommended videos I was listening was an interview of T.I. interviewing the founder of Fubu. And they were talking about how kind of like the system is set up in a way where schools, you're not really learning like finance and finance as far as investing, but then also like personal finance. And I was like, you know what? This is like so true. Like I'm just learning a lot of this stuff as far as where to invest like money that I'm able to save. Like I'm like in my late 20s, early 30s. I just turned 30 this year, and I'm like just starting learning that stuff now. So it's like crazy. Like you learn all this stuff in school. So I'm grateful that you had the opportunity, or at least like you had that intuition, something in your head that you're like, hey, I want to start investing or learning this stuff just in case I get in the not for long league, the NFL, and you know something happens or I'm not able to save money or Travis Kelce's around. I just like want to party, meet chicks, stuff like that, XYZ. So that's good that you got into that, and obviously you got into real estate. As you were explaining me your story, I didn't know the specifics to that detail. Out of all the interviews I've done the last 3 years, it probably most reminded me of Rafael Vargas, who met this rich guy, I think at like a dentist office. He was getting something done to his teeth, and he met this rich guy, and he's just like, what do you do? And he pretty much said the same thing, real estate. The guy said, all right, pay me $3,000, $5,000. He ended up just like walking the money, taking the money and running. He kept persisting, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna find another mentor. But Rafael was the same thing. He was literally in his car, had mojo, driving for dollars, doing all this stuff, and just like kind of spent that first year, kind of what you were detailing, just kind of growing thick skin, getting used to sellers saying no, kind of building that persistence for probably where you're at now. A lot more stuff that might happen that's either like neutral or negative a day just kind of like slides right off you, and you're able to just keep going and keep grinding.
Yep. Like the no's don't bug me anymore, like, or anything else like that. I mean, I don't really cold call anymore. We have a call center that handles that. But yeah, man, just at the beginning, it was a grind. Like at my lowest point, I remember, so my son's mom moved to Bakersfield, and I was so broke because the deal didn't close. I had to ask my mom for $20 to drive to Bakersfield to go pick up my son. And then I got to Bakersfield. I ran out of gas. I had to call my mom and ask her for another $20 so we could get home. And then the next day I closed on a deal for like 30 grand. Yeah. But like it takes a lot to like get through all this stuff. Like I hate like the YouTube guru culture of like, oh, you're going to be dead, you're going to be rich so fast, you're going to have like all this massive business out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't work like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to educate yourself so much, and then a lot of people just go, they get a check and they go buy a new car.
Yeah, and I think that is exponentially true just in the age of information now, where all this stuff is so readily available. Like, you could be driving in YouTube, like how to wholesale or how to start a cold calling campaign, and the barrier to entry to wholesaling is so low that I think that's going to be more and more true as time goes. But yeah, man, some inspiring stuff. I'd love to hear kind of how you kept progressing through that and what you got going on now. And I didn't even say in the intro that you're starting a podcast or have started a podcast or an interviewing platform where you're able to talk to other, associates in the industry that are very high level or people in your mastermind. So I want to also pick your brain just kind of on some stuff that you've been able to pick up from them, just being able to brush shoulders or bump shoulders, whatever the expression is, with some other high level people from all around the country as well.
Okay. Yeah, man. I think, so that I just started it off because I was like, okay, I have all these people who I spend all this time in my day talking to, right? Like, you know how we go to events, like most of my friends are from networking now, like people who I've met through events and everything else. And we have these hour-long, really good conversations, like where we're talking about something else to where people would pay to like hear these. I was like, well, I might as well just record me talking to my friends.
Yeah.
And so that's what most of it is. And I don't want it to be like some super, I feel like a lot of the real estate podcasts are like really uptight and they're just talking about strategies and everything else. That's one thing I don't really care about. Like, yeah, we'll talk about like some high level strategies or like little tweaks that we do in our business. But I just want to talk to them like, what's your life like, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you manage this with your kids? How do you manage this with your business? How do you manage your relationship with your partners? Like, because there's all these other things that nobody else really talks about.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I really want to do with that. And it's been cool. I got Matt Larson coming on next Wednesday. I mean, he's a badass.
Yeah.
And he's flipped 4,000 houses and now his company runs completely by VAs.
Yeah.
And that'll be awesome to talk to him about that and how to put more VAs in place.
Yeah. I interviewed him at the beginning of this year, I think it was, and I was blown away just by how simply he explains the way that he put systems, processes, virtual assistants in place to grow that. Also kind of how he made his own like little Lowe's store is interesting. Just the way that he's able to, and the way that he's able to, which is definitely a mindset shift around hiring versus expenses, but the way he breaks it down where he'll do something that most people will see as just a straight expense. So for example, hiring like an executive assistant for 40 grand a year, 36 grand a year. So most people off the bat just see that as like one expense, 36K for the year. But really he sees it as like, you know what, I'm gonna only do their contract for 2 or 3 months. So that's just gonna be like a $3,000 investment or $6,000 investment, whatever it is, for 3 months. But he's able to do that with not just hiring, but like leasing different like warehouses or different things like that. So that'll definitely be a fun interview. I'll have to check that one out. I listened to some of your interview with Jamil, who's the absolute man. I did an interview with him. That's probably who I would kind of, if I had to say one person mindset wise I'm the most similar to, I'd probably say a good chunk of it is Jamil, just as far as putting an emphasis kind of like on yourself and mindset first and letting everything trickle down from there. Man, you have some definitely some awesome people on your podcast, and I appreciate that it's more qualitative stuff. That's how mine are. Because really the tips, the strategical stuff, you can just Google and find on YouTube if you have the wherewithal to do that. But the qualitative stuff, you may just pick up 1 or 2 nuggets from the interview that's going to help you, and also you're just building the belief in your brain, like it's just a normalized thing that success is going to happen if you do X, Y, and Z. So that's why I like, kind of building these in as far as listening to this and content consumption. So listening to the news or, X, Y, Z, whatever you're going to watch, Tiger King, whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, I just feel like there's been a serious lack of like, okay, Trevor Mock does kind of a good job about talking about like, okay, lifestyle. Like no one else talks about lifestyle, like this whole entrepreneur grind thing. That's awesome. But like Mark Evans, Matt Larson, they're like, bro, I don't want to work.
Yeah.
My job is to build a system, and then I want to live my life accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like talking to people about that stuff, like spending time with your kids. Like, how are you balancing spending time with your kids?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Pace just takes his 2-year-old daughter everywhere. So that's one thing I've tried to do more. I just take my son everywhere I go.
Love that. So where are you at right now, man? You're building the Strat Empire over there in California, right?
Yeah, we're in Fresno.
Fresno, California. What does that look like for you right now? And how are you doing? You know, how is your job of having the best possible life going for you this far? Where are we at in the journey?
It's going good. I mean, right now it's hiring on just more VAs to pulling everything out possible out of my head,
Mhm.
creating a video for someone to do it, having that person do it, me coach them up on it, and then them documenting that whole process in their own video, and then having documents fully laid out of, okay, this is how we do it. So that way, if they die, if their sister dies and they have to leave for a week, I can just plug someone in, they can read it, not have any questions, and then it's taken care of. That's my biggest thing. I started a call center a couple months ago. That's going really well. And then yeah, buying more rentals is hopefully the goal. We only wholesale about like 2 to 3 a month. Like, yeah, obviously I want to grow that, but I really I want passive income. I don't really like a lifestyle business, somewhat. Like, obviously I love money, but I want to start getting into like big boy investing, apartments, and then self-storage, and obviously like our sub-2 stuff, to where we have no money in the deal and I'm creating money out of nothing. We're going to pay off our lender with one of them. So we'll make like 12 grand, and then I'll get 500 bucks in cash flow for the rest of my life. And so that's no money out of my pocket, nothing.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, that excites me.
Yeah, that excites me as well, and I love hearing that. Where are you getting these deals from? And I know, you know, this is a question more so on the strategy side, but what type of marketing are you doing, and like what kind of adjustments have you made with the whole Corona quarantine situation?
So we're primarily virtual before this, right? So we go 3 hours south and 3 hours north. So like from Ridgecrest, California, all the way up to Sacramento, California, is what we do. And I'd say the biggest thing is just telling people like we understand and talking to them, but Corona hasn't switched up things that much. And our primary marketing stream is cold calling. Yeah, cold calling. Texting is getting a little bit more competitive and a lot more expensive. Cold calling's pretty much stayed true and true the whole time.
Very cool. What made you start your own cold call? I know that might sound like a little bit of an obvious answer for you potentially, but what made you start that, and like what was kind of your path to start cold calling that made you do that? That was like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own thing. And is it available for other people?
Yeah, it's called Call Magicians. If you just
Oh,
reach out to us on our website, we'll get in contact with you, or you can fill out a form, and then it takes you the whole process, and we'll set up a client call.
cool.
But the biggest thing for us was, well, for me, is I lost 6 grand at the beginning of the year using a call center from someone who I met at an event. And so I met him at an event. I was using him. It was good. We did a couple of deals from his callers. And then I was like, okay, man, like I really want to throw down. And so I give him all this money. And then for that month, I only got 3 leads.
Mm.
No KPIs, no nothing. Like, I was hammering. He quit answering my phone calls and everything else. I was like, oh my God.
Damn.
And so I switched to a different company after I'd already lost all that money. And then think we were at 8 cold callers with them. And then and then we listened to the phone calls, and they couldn't deliver quality for the amount of cold callers that we needed. Like, the accents were really strong, and then the culture wasn't there. And so I cut them, and then I was like, man, I can just do this myself. Like, if I'm going to be training people, I might as well just build out this whole thing and then just kind of let it run. And so that's what really, the frustration of going through other call centers, I was like, I can do this better and offer a better quality product.
Got you. So what does your cold calling team look like right now for your own business?
For my own business, I have 5 cold callers, and then we call for 6 hours a day, pretty much 1 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Very cool. Love that.
We use call tools. What else? We pull all of our data from Batch. We use promo code Stratt. That'll get you a discount. But I think Batch's data has been the best. We do use Skip Genie now and then Ivy data as well.
Very cool. What do you think, kind of transitioning to you know, the Andrew Carnegie interview style, and I'll have to make sure that I get the resources from your social to follow you, and any coupon codes for batch or anything like that after the interview. But I kind of want to talk about, you can mix in your business, obviously. I think kind of organically will be brought into conversation. But I kind of want to get the 80-20 of the people that you meet in networking and masterminds and things like that, kind of like what makes them successful in general. And also kind of in this time of, I see it as opportunity with, quarantine. There are some spikes and stuff coming up and restaurants closing down, at least that were open, that are closing back down, at least locally here in Baltimore City. But I would love to hear kind of a synthesis and maybe go back and forth on what makes the people that you talk to in general successful, and then the opportunity right now.
I'd say the biggest thing is they invest so much money into themselves. So much money into themselves, and then mindset. Like, it's almost ignorance. Like, you are so positive. And I've seen this in football. One of my friends, he played with me at Fresno State. He was a walk-on. He transferred. I was like, bro, you're good enough to play. He transferred to Bakersfield. And then he goes from Bakersfield City, to Kansas State. He's a 2-time All-American and gets drafted in the 4th round. And you could not tell him that he was never going to go to the NFL. And you could not tell him that he could not guard Julio Jones right now. Like, that just whole mindset of, like, I will win, I think has been the biggest thing that I've seen. And then positivity. Like, staying positive, even though you can have that mindset, you could still be beating yourself up in your head. Staying positive that way, and then just investing into yourself, going to more masterminds, learning more. Obviously not blowing it, but like just trying to, there's levels to this shit, right? Like, they learn about the next level and they have a mentor telling them, hey, this is what you need to do to get to here. Like, if you're just trying to reinvent the wheel, it takes a lot longer than just say, hey, you're here, how do I get here? If you got to pay him money, just pay him money, because it's going to be worth it. You're going to make it back, hands down.
I heard a great quote that said, it might have been Grant Cardone or something affiliated with him, that said, whatever you want your salary to be, you should be spending at minimum 10% on self-education towards that, or masterminds, or whatever it is, like some type of betterment in that area. Yeah, I think it's like the belief, and like you said, I think it was like blind optimism, or irrational positivity and optimism that something is gonna work out for you. So that's interesting. And one thing I noticed too, just a principle on you, some of your post-game interviews at Fresno State, one thing that I've kind of talked about since I've heard it from a financial planner is I'm kind of on that journey of learning about personal finance and where to invest money saved up, is the principle of over self-responsibility. So as you're talking about being overly positive or irrationally positive, this one finance dude that I heard in a podcast talks about like a principle of being irrationally self-responsible. So there's stuff that's taking self-responsibility for that's out of your control. So even if like the weather's bad and something happens, I go, oh, you know what, that's on me. And that kind of like dictates things that come at you, and opportunities and way that people react to you. You had a post-game press conference after a loss, and one thing I noticed that you said, and you were like adamant at repeating, you're like, you know what, the coach gave us, we had good practices all week. The coaches all gave us what we needed to win. Us as the players just didn't execute, so that's on us. And that reminded me of that same principle, this financial guy that I heard on a podcast, of like taking over responsibility or over self-responsibility for everything, and how helpful that is, and how that's a leading indicator of success for a lot of the ultra wealthy or ultra successful people, whoever you want to talk about.
Yeah, extreme ownership. And I mean, with that, like, I was really pissed off because like I was involved in creating the game plan. I was like, okay, we know what they're going to do. If you're just in this gap, we win, and then we didn't execute. But then still, now I didn't even apply that in college, like that whole extreme ownership thing, to where like it's all my fault, dude. It's all my fault. Like, if you just say like, okay, it's your fault, I control what I can control, and then move on, at least you have control of your life. You can't, if you say it's someone else's fault, then like, what can you do to stop it? You know, like, you have no control. That's how I see it. And so everything's my fault. If our callers are doing bad, it's my fault. I didn't train you enough. If we're not doing deals, like, okay, we didn't train our sales guy good enough. If our marketing is not going well enough, like, okay, I probably researched wrong and allocated the funds the wrong way. Like, it's still always my fault, no matter what. That's at least how I see it.
Mm-hmm. And it's like a core principle, or it goes in with the core principle of stoicism, which is like only focusing on things that you can control. So those things kind of play into each other nicely, or at least like giving time and emotion and mental and emotional energy towards that. Like stuff that I can't
Yeah.
control, you know, if I want to be extreme ownership on it, like, you know what, I'll take responsibility for that, but am I going to let it affect like my mental well-being or how I show up for an interview or how
You
I show
can't.
up to my wife and kids? You know, I'm not going to do that.
Yep. Like, you just can't do it. And I mean, what good does it? I'm a fan of stoicism. Like, what good does it do for me to like dwell on it? Like, if I have no control over it, I'm just taking up space in my head that I could be using to focus on something else to make me more money.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard thing to do, though. You know, like, it's so easy to talk about in concept, but still, like, we always have to fight that monkey on our back.
Mm-hmm. How do you do that? How do you do that? And kind of looping back to the last question, as far as talking to some of your associates or friends in the industry, how do you kind of stay positive and build that mindset, which is definitely a daily thing. It's kind of like exercise with body composition. It's not like you just do 50 push-ups one day and your chest is going to be all ripped up. Like
Right.
daily compounded efforts. How do you do that? And like from your interviews, what have you kind of deducted?
I have to talk to my friends a lot, bro. Like, you have to talk to positive people still, because entrepreneurship is so lonely. Like, you can't talk to your employees that you feel like shit. Like, you're the leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell your VAs you feel like shit today. Like, I talk to my friends when I'm going through troubles, and they're like, my friends are all positive. And so even if I am fighting that monkey on my back, they're like, hey, bro, quit being soft, or quit thinking like that. We're here, blah, blah, blah. To where at least I have someone else to help me with it. Because I think no one really talks about the mental battle that entrepreneurship is. Like, bro, it's a lot. Like, you're taking on a lot of risk. And let's say you're trying to scale and you're like, okay, I know I'm going to risk this. I'll get that. But you still have that bottom 20% to where, hey, if shit hits the fan, bro, it's back to bananas and rice for a couple months. Nobody wants to be living off of bananas and rice, you know? And so I talk to my friends to like stay positive. Meditation. I need to get better at working out more. I always feel so much better when I work out. And then like, if I am like overwhelmed, I just spend time with my family. Like, I'm like, okay, just turn off work. Let me spend time with my family. Turn off my phone, like put my laptop in a closet and recenter, meditate, and then I'll come back to it. And then books like PsychoCybernetics, like I've Think and Grow Rich, I've read that so many times. PsychoCybernetics, like books like that on top of our other education pieces in books help me a ton. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what am I thinking about? How can I correct this? And then I try and meditate whenever I feel myself spiraling.
Love that. How do you like psycho-cybernetics? I'm asking about that one specifically because I just got that on my last. I kind of have an Amazon problem. I'm always ordering books and flipping through. But psycho-cybernetics I got because one, because Grant Cardone, so that was the first book he read. That was kind of like his snowball effect for reading. Mine was Think and Grow Rich in college.
Yep.
But Grant Cardone's was psycho-cybernetics, and also I had heard from him and somebody else that it really touches on self-image psychology, which I definitely think
Yeah.
is a huge 80-20 lever, a huge foundation for everything that we're talking about in this interview. Because it's almost like what you program your self-image to be is what you're going to get out of it. So if you see yourself as a successful entrepreneur that's able to do wholesaling, have a call center, start building a rental portfolio, start getting into multifamily, connect with the highest level investors in the country, like if that's kind of what you set your self-image as, to a certain degree, you're going to do that on autopilot in addition to conscious actions that you have to take, decisions day by day, conscious decisions you have to take every day. But that's kind of like the moving force behind it that kind of lubes the action that you're going to take, makes it run a little bit smoother. So I did
Yeah.
want to hear your opinion on psycho-cybernetics. Maybe I'll dive into that a little bit this
It's
weekend.
it's huge, man. I mean, like, you don't think it's all so common sense, but when he points it out, like the guy's started off as a plastic surgeon, and one of the guys was talking like so self-conscious about his ears, and it like drove him down. Is like how the book kind of starts. But even like if you start just thinking like I'm this thing, I'm a woo woo like Bob Proctor Think and Grow Rich dude, to where you're gonna bring that into reality.
Same.
And if you don't think you are successful, or at least like see like, hey, this is me. Like I acted like I was successful before I was, and I don't even consider myself successful, but before I was at this point. And it's just helped me. And so like if you just think more positive, it's just woo-woo, man. Like I don't want to kill it. You got to read the book. It helped me out a ton. And then Think and Grow Rich changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
Think and
Same,
Grow
bro.
Rich, without a doubt, changed my life.
Same, bro.
I read it when I first came out, got done playing football, and the guy I was working for was like, don't really talk to me till you read this book. And I read the book and it changed. Like that's like the pivotal point.
Mm-hmm. Same, bro. That's like one of the chapter 4 range is the Autosuggestion, which is like led me down the whole path of almost like self-image psychology, or pretty much intentionally programming how you want your automatic behaviors and thoughts to be, which is essentially what you're saying, like pretty much what you tell yourself. But yeah, dude, I'm the same way. Think and Grow Rich is my first book that put me down that rabbit hole.
And it's huge just because you're going to face so much stuff in this entrepreneurship journey that you got to have something to you, like stoicism and then positive self-image that's just going to keep you grounded. Because you're going to have some really big highs, and then I promise you're going to have some shitty lows.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to take it with the ebbs and flows. And if you can at least have a rock of self-image, like this is me. No matter what's happening, I know I'm still here and my trajectory is here. And it's hard to do, man. But like that's why you're always studying up and surrounding yourself with positive people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. So moving forward here, we're recording this in July. What do you see the back nine of this year looking like? We're in quarter 3. We got Q3, Q4. What does this look like? What are you speaking into existence right now, so to say, in your meditations and your visions and stuff?
We're trying to. I want to own 25 units by the end of the year. Is one thing that I'm writing down every day. And then I have a certain revenue goal that we're trying to hit. And then a certain goal in my call center to where we want to be pretty large. Like it's a big goal, but like with the way we're growing, I think we're going to get there. And then that's really, I want to hit a certain amount of money. Like I just want to hit like $1 million this year is like what our goal is. Like $1 million revenue. Awesome. Take home would be whatever it is, whatever our overhead is. But that's like my number one goal this year. And then owning 25 units. I want to have 25 units before the end of the year.
Love it, brother. Where could people follow you or stay in touch to see the journey of Stratt? I definitely want people to check out your interviews too. Like I said, I caught most of the one with Jamil, which was cool. Pace popping in there for a minute. But where could people follow you, man?
Follow me on Facebook, just Stratton Brown. And then on Instagram, it's Strat Daddy, 2 T's, 2 Y's. Those are the best 2 ways to get a hold of me, man. Just send me a message on it. Instagram. Facebook is hit and miss. Like I just use that to put out all of our videos. Yeah,
Facebook is hit and miss, man. There's so many notifications. I almost want to have like an admin or something that just watches all my social for me, because there's so many notifications and random things that you get invited to and spam friend requests and everything like that. But
and then trying to stay off of it.
Yeah, and then that's a whole.
Try and stay away from that.
That's a whole thing. I think it was the beginning of the year. I don't think I had Instagram on my phone for the first like 2 or 3 months. It was amazing. Very helpful.
Right, but it makes me money now. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to not. You cannot, like, the biggest hiccup for me now is like I can't consume. I only have to create.
Mm-hmm.
So like as you're creating, you just have to put it down, leave it, and then keep on going. Create some more, put it down, leave it, because it is such a, like, if you look at your timer on your phone, like, hey, you used Instagram for 6 hours today. Like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll tell you because, like, you just got random pickups. Let's say you get a text, it throws you off your flow, and you get back into it on Instagram again. Yeah, that is a whole nother rabbit hole.
Before we started recording too, you asked me a great question. You're like, what do you like better between investor use day to day or wholesaling day to day? One thing that kind of goes with my personality for some reason, or just how my personality is for my preference, I like having so much more. One thing is like scheduled meetings. Like, all right, I know I'm going to have an interview with Stratt, 4 o'clock Eastern, that type of stuff. So typically day to day, like I don't need my phone on me. I had it because we were messaging each other back and forth to make sure we had the interview and everything set. So I had my phone on me right now just in case something popped up. But typically throughout the workday, I don't even have my phone on me. And that's like my number one productivity.
Wow.
I know that's not relevant for everybody if you're talking to leads or whatever. When I was managing leads, like I had my phone on me all the time. But that's something that's just helped me, like not having my phone on me or in the same room. And that's something that Trevor Mock, we're talking about him, legendary Trevor Mock. That's something that he tracks in his habit tracker, like having his phone in the closet at night and not checking it until he does his morning routine. Same thing that I've been using his habit tracker for a year this month in July. Same exact thing. So every night I have that away. Have my morning time, kind of like how Jamil. I've mentioned Jamil so many times. I'm going to link the interview for you guys that Stratt did with him. But he has his me time in the morning, which I think is definitely a huge 80-20 foundational thing. Like, you're just going to be happier if you can spend time with your family in the morning or meditate or get your workouts in. I got so soft working out during quarantine. Thank God the gym just opened back up. I was actually tossing around the football today with my homie Alex. Big multifamily investor, has like 400 some units here, younger than me. He's the man. But that type of stuff just compounded. You're just putting yourself in better situations and chances of having like productive days, creative thoughts, ideas. And it's really, really a difference. Like you'll just look back. Even during the quarantine, I was talking to one of my roommates last night because it's his birthday today and mine was in March, which was close to the beginning of the quarantine. I was like, man, I remember we had like a chalkboard in the kitchen where we were just like tallying days. But now looking back on it, it seems like the quarantine just went like that, you know? And that's kind of how life is. So it's like you'll be happy if you look back 6 months and see that you spent time in the morning or spending time with positive friends, investing money into networking or masterminds. You're gonna look back and be like, damn, really glad I did X, Y, and Z, and look what I have now, and I'm setting myself up to do in the future.
Yeah.
Kind of like with the rental units, you might look back in a year or two with 100, 200 units and be like, damn, I was writing this goal every single day of having 25 units by the end of 2020, grossing 100 million. Or not 100 million. Well, I'd be sick, but $1 million.
That'd be sick.
And be like, damn, 100x goal. But yeah, man, that's good stuff. Good stuff for sure, man. What else do you have on your plate today? I know it's only probably 2:00 West Coast time for you.
Family time. I still got to go to the freaking gym. And then talk to some leads. I got to put in a couple offers. I had the cops called on me this morning because I went to go see a house. A realtor wanted me to go see it. Like, okay, yeah, let me see. I drive there. The neighbor pulls up on me. I'm calling the cops. I was like, call the cops. Like, I'm here to look at a house. Does the owner know? Yeah, the owner called me to like come look at the house. And the dude called the cops. It was a disaster.
Some scarcity-minded people.
I'm gonna buy the house though.
For sure. Love it.
I'm gonna buy the house.
Love that. Then you'll end up buying their house too, and you can kick them out of there. Buy the neighbor's house. Pull a Drake move. Cool, man. Well, this has been a fun conversation for sure, man. Do you have any final thoughts or words here? And like I said, I'll definitely link your YouTube channel. I'm subscribed on the Investor Fuse page to your YouTube.
So, check out Call Magicians, our call center. I think we really do provide the best quality in our region. Well, not region. Investors call center wise, I feel like we're killing it. We provide the best people. And then follow me on Instagram. Reach out to me if you have any questions.
Cool.
I'm always an open book.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. If you could do me a huge favor, if you got any positivity out of this interview, make sure to leave a 5-star review on iTunes or shoot me an email, carlos@investorfuse.com, with any questions you have or any questions you have for Stratt. I'll be happy to link you guys, and have an amazing day whenever you're hearing this.